How fast is Kyler Murray going to go, our Heisman Trophy winner tonight? Will Arizona pick them? Obviously, teams plotting out their course here, but looking to fulfill some certain needs. Arizona, just like any other team, has their challenges and are looking to put together a strong roster there.
All right, so we're waiting. The Cardinals are on the clock. Let's talk about our Texans. They picked 23rd, one of the biggest needs, something you know about because you play the position, offensive line. What are your thoughts about who they should take?
Honestly, the kid from Alabama is really, really good. And whenever you're building an offensive line, you want to start from outside in. The big money position in the NFL is obviously left tackle.
Yeah.
So you want to go with the tackle to protect the quarterback's blind side, but we kind of need it across the board. So it should be interesting where they go.
You think he'll still be there by the time they get around to the 23rd pick? Yeah. See, that's the challenge for the Texans, right?
So who would be your second favorite pick at left tackle?
There's a lot of good ones out there, honestly. I don't know which direction they're going to go because you have different types of left tackles. You have some that might be stronger in the run game than the pass. We're a team that's multifaceted.
True.
We can go with the scrambling quarterback, or we can sit in the pocket and play traditional NFL ball. So it's going to be based on, I think, what they do.
We, of course, don't want our quarterback running around like crazy all day, even though he can.
That's how we got to where we are now.
That's very
We
true.
need to offer him some relief support and backup there. Okay, so the Texans, obviously a big headline for Houstonians. The other big headline, Ed Oliver tonight and where he will go and just how fast he will go. Josh, can you give us some insight into Ed in the draft tonight?
I mean, Ed Oliver, since he left Westfield, he's been the guy. I mean, he was the guy at Westfield. He was the guy in high school here. Everyone knew who he was. And then when he stayed home to play at U of H, it made it even bigger because this is a 5-star staying here at home. And he was followed his entire U of H career. I mean, heading into this season, it was Ed for Heisman and all that talk. And what would he be? And talking to a couple people, back in high school, they knew he would be a top pick. Just the way he played, his motor. I mean, his junior and senior year, he played both sides of the football. He would play running back at times, and then he would go on the other side and play DN or D tackle. And he's just a beast. And we've seen it throughout his high school career. And so now we'll see which NFL team is going to take him. And I mean, you look in the top 5, the Oakland Raiders need help on the defensive line.
He could go that high.
And I mean, that's what a lot of people were saying right now. A couple weeks ago, it was anywhere between 3 to the Jets to 14 to the Falcons, and now it looks like a lot of people are saying, hey, the Oakland Raiders look like they could be the team that Ed Oliver will land on. But you never know. I mean, Oakland could be there at 4, or something crazy could happen, and it all gets shaken up here in the next few minutes.
This is a very important draft for Oakland as well, too, the Raiders tonight, a big one.
They have a lot to prove because I think last year with all of the amazing talent, you immediately think to Khalil Mack that they let go. John Gruden's he's on the hot seat. Like, you have to prove that all those changes that you made are going to pay off with all the draft picks that you picked up this year.
And a new general manager as well, Mike Mayock, and he's got to prove himself in his first draft as the general manager of the Raiders.
Circling back around to the Texans, we're hearing from folks now on Facebook. Karen Perez says, go get some offensive players for the Texans. Deshaun needs protection. So,
back to the offensive line.
Everybody knows that.
Well, we just hope that they know that. And I know we do, but we hope that they draft that way. So
if you buy a really nice car, you get good insurance, right? So you need good insurance
That's
around
true.
your quarterback. Because, like we said, he can run. We've seen him run. You don't want him running all the time, especially for his life whenever potentially an Ed Oliver is chasing him down.
That's true. I know the second need for the Texans is in the defensive backfield. They lost 3 guys from last year. Matthew was one of them. Kareem Jackson, who the Texans drafted in the first round several years ago out of Alabama. He's gone. So you got to shore up the defensive secondary as well, right?
That's correct. And, it's hard, again, to find out where these guys are, how good these guys are going to be, no matter where they get drafted. And so you just have to, trust the homework that you've done and trust your scouting department and all the film that they've watched, and they've had an opportunity to see them live, and just go for it.
I know we've talked about Kyler Murray. Who is going early tonight? Which players are going early tonight?
I mean,
Top 5?
The name that pops out in my mind is Nick Bosa.
Yes.
I mean, that's what everyone's talking from Ohio State. We've seen what his brother Joey's been able to do. Now Nick is the next guy, and I mean, you turn on the film and it's impressive. I mean, you look at those two between Nick Bosa and Ed Oliver. Those two guys, I don't think I would want to try to slow them down.
You're right.
And then we just think about like draft freaks. DK Metcalf comes to mind because he had an amazing combine, and you know, stock went through the roof. But you know, what team is going to want a receiver in their first 5 to 10 picks?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the guy that had like the unbelievable 2% body fat or something like that.
Yes.
And those stats from the combine mean a lot. How much of that plays a part in where they go in the draft? It obviously raises their stock, like you said, but how much of a role is that going to play when it comes time to make those picks?
It's interesting to me because as a football coach, you want all of those measurables, but at the end of the day, we go what we call the Kodak. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. So, you look at his film, he makes a lot of plays, and that's what it comes down to for a lot of guys. I mean, obviously, when you get to the NFL, they start looking at character issues and things like that. But you can have a bad day at the combine, but still be the guy on Saturday evenings in college football, and that makes up for a lot.
Yeah, when
That's
it's
true.
time to go out there and make the plays, are you making the plays? That's
Exactly.
And I think sometimes it's the instinctive plays too,
Yes.
out on the field, because I mean, there's a lot of guys that can run fast in a straight line. There's guys that can do the cone drills, but hey, when this guy goes right, but he's actually going to turn to go left, do you have the skill and the speed to go back that way?
A cone is one thing. A 300-pound guy trying to knock you out is
Train
another.
coming at you, right?
And that's what I said earlier. You have to go back and trust your scouting department and trust what you've seen on film and live in person. And you have to trust that. You just do. You have to go. If it's in the gut, you have to go with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're watching the excitement live along with you as it's happening in Nashville, the 2019 NFL Draft. Fans here watching, experts here watching. I have to ask, this is so exciting for the players. Coach and our athletic director here, have you guys seen players go there? Have you been able to make the phone call and say best of luck to you tonight?
I have a kid actually that will be in this year's draft. Before I came to HISD, I coached in Galena Park ISD, and our quarterback, Anthula Kelly, went to Fresno State on a full scholarship, played cornerback for him, and had an amazing season this year. I want to say last week he flew down to meet with the Texans, and probably won't be tonight, but during the weekend his name should get called. And having had those personal conversations with him, he still comes over to Westbury when he comes into town to work out with us.
Oh, that's great.
Just talking to him about the nervousness and when you get your name called, it changes everything, but you have to stay that same person.
Yeah, we do know a ton of kids come out of Houston
Yes.
and go to the NFL. You know this, athletic director.
Yes.
I mean, it's impressive. 2-3 years from now, somebody we forgot that went to high school here, and they're a star.
Correct.
It's amazing to see.
It is, and again, somebody said that they watched Ed in high school, and you can kind of tell. So when we're at games, we're looking at those elite athletes, and we're saying they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity. If they just continue to grow and continue to get better, there's an opportunity. And you look up, like you say, 2 or 3 years down the road, and it's like, we're doing this. We're watching them do it.
So here we are. We're under 2 minutes. We're about a minute and a half before Arizona makes a pick.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the clock has ticked that long.
Well,
Right?
they're waiting to see if somebody calls with the right deal,
If
right?
we're doing our expert thing now, we're like, well, do they really want
So
Kyler?
before, I'm curious, before the pick,
Okay.
raise your hand if you think Kyler Murray's going number 1.
Everybody.
Hey, raise your hand,
It's
Lane.
unanimous.
I'm not sure. You think it's
There hasn't been
unanimous?
another name. There hasn't been another name that has been floated for weeks. It's
That's
just been
true.
Kyler Murray.
Right.
Everything's been about Kyler Murray and how will Josh Rosen handle this, and is Josh Rosen going to be an Arizona Cardinal once this is all said and done and if this draft is over? And
Right.
Yeah, if I'm Josh Rosen, I'm feeling a certain kind of way.
I'm really feeling
But
the
the
way.
Yeah.
thing is, you have to be at that level. You have to be a professional, and whether it's Kyler Murray or the next greatest thing after him, you come into a situation like he has to compete to get this job. It's mine until he takes it.
Right.
And he's been a professional because earlier this week he was doing their voluntary mini camp with Cliff Kingsbury, and I mean to do that the week of the draft is
means
pretty.
a lot.
That,
It
Yeah,
says
that's a lot.
we
That's a
forgot
lot.
that that's the other Texas connection here with this first draft. Kingsbury, having been at Tech, coaching, he's always been called a quarterback guru.
Correct.
So, it makes sense that they would go with
Pick
Kyler
is
Murray.
in.
Week is in.
All right, so any moment now.
I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, a Texas high school football quarterback too.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray.
Everybody says Murray.
Yep.
I got a question.
All of our fans are concerned about.
So we're waiting on the
Texans
pick
right now,
because
by the way.
everybody's about to watch
We got
it
a
and
little
get.
while before we get to our home.
So,
Right.
what do you think? Murray's got on a pink suit.
And now
Is
we're
that all right?
style.
You
I
know
just
what?
want to know.
If we're going hot or not from the red carpet, I'm gonna say it was a fail.
It's a fail.
But as the number one pick, you want to make a statement.
Yes.
Well, he's making a statement.
Well,
Right.
he's making one, but I don't know about that.
And it's
one,
three
man.
piece.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I wear; it's about how I play, right?
It takes a grown man to pull off pink.
Takes the Heisman
There
Trophy
you
winner,
go.
baby,
There
to
you go.
pull off.
Hey, you win
pink,
Heisman,
yeah.
you can wear whatever you
Yes,
want to the NFL.
exactly.
That's true.
NFL
You're
draft.
right. I guess you're right.
Exactly. Fans there, thousands of people there in Nashville
Yeah.
on the streets.
Arizona
the outdoor
Cardinals
stage
fans.
set up. There's the main stage.
We're waiting on the committee.
Here
Here he comes.
Roger Goodell.
All right, here we go.
All right, so let's see how this is going to play out.
We're really looking like experts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you guys are pretty good.
Wow.
1 for 1.
No surprise. I think though, no real surprise.
No real surprise.
Look at this kid. Oh my gosh. And so he's like 5'10", right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not tall.
It's not.
And I think if my memory serves me
quarterback stature.
right, I think he's one of the first players that would be taken in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft and then also
Yes,
the NFL
he is.
draft.
Right.
He's played-
So
It's pretty special.
is he
Major
taken
baseball
10th
player,
overall
too.
by the Oakland A's?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and he's got sneakers on too.
I've never been big on the height thing though. You look at the guys like Drew Brees and Doug Flutie
And Russell
Like,
Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. Those guys are all below that threshold, but can play the
Right.
game. At the end of the day, if you're a ball player, you can play. You can go.
Oh man.
And Cliff Kingsbury, the offense that he runs. I mean, this guy.
You think it
this guy
tailors to
fits.
what Murray brings?
Oh, it fits in. When Cliff Kingsbury was hired by the Arizona Cardinals and they knew they had the #1 pick, the first thought was Kyler Murray. He fits that role. He's a rollout quarterback. Kingsbury likes to run those plays where he'll get the quarterback out of the pocket, throw a little screen pass out to the right or left, and let the guys do their thing. So it's to me interesting now.
Yeah, and the only thing that comes to mind though is when you talk about Kingsbury's offense, you start to ask yourself, is the collegiate offense going to
Correct.
directly transfer to the pro
Correct.
game?
That's the question.
And it's a toss-up because with a lot of teams now, a lot of NFL teams are using collegiate concepts. We're seeing the Wildcat all the time now, a lot of the spread concepts that we do from the high school level up into the pros. So should be interesting.
Here's a little background on Kyler Murray. He's the 8th quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy and be selected first overall in the NFL draft since 1967.
Really?
Yes, he's the 3rd quarterback from Oklahoma to be chosen with the first overall pick
Right.
in the common draft era also as well too. So this kid making
Baker
a statement,
Mayfield went
making-
high too, right?
making-
He
yes,
did.
exactly.
And won the Heisman.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Jeez.
and just last year. So.
Oh, see, there we go. We
and
got
then
some
before
video
that,
of him right
Jameis
here.
Winston as well too.
And I think this too, if I read this right earlier today, 3rd straight year that the NFL draft is open with a Texas high school football product to be drafted.
That
so,
doesn't surprise me.
That's a statement.
So
right?
That's sweet.
it shouldn't be a surprise because we all know Texas has the best high school football in the country. If anyone watched the North Shore Duncanville game this year.
Does that put the pressure on you, Coach? You know what I mean? Being here in the state of Texas and competing.
I'm gonna say no because having played in Texas as a prep myself and playing college ball in Texas and now coaching high school football in Texas, you understand what you got yourself into, and we relish it. Like you want to be in that limelight on Friday nights in those big games, playing in NRG and things like that. So no pressure at all. It's all a part of what we do.
Okay, I want to give a few people shout-outs here who are joining us. Alex Gomez, welcome to the party. Thanks so much. O'Shaw Flower says, what's up, Greg? Coach Greg. Right. Hey, suddenly people you've known from high school are going to be reaching out. Exactly. O'Shaw
I don't know. Don't act like you don't know.
Hey, I know. Wow.
How's it
Hope we're
going?
not getting anybody in trouble
No,
here.
not at all, not at all.
Mark Schlegel, thanks so much for joining us as well. Rebecca Connersman, Danielle Young, thank you guys so much. Let us know your thoughts, what you think so far about the first pick of the 2019 NFL Draft tonight happening in Nashville.
Okay, who has the second pick?
49ers.
San Francisco, the 49ers.
49ers. And I don't know what their needs are. Do you guys have any clue?
They need a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
They got a quarterback.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully he's a healthy quarterback.
Yeah,
coming
that's
back.
true.
And that's a big question there. But they need a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
because you got a lot of defensive
Nick
players
Bosa's
still
been the name.
available.
I mean,
Right.
the defensive
Nick,
end.
yeah.
I mean, Nick's been the name so far throughout all the mock drafts, and
Yeah.
I mean, this draft to me, it feels like it's so much of a defensive players
Correct.
draft. I mean, we talk about the quarterbacks. I mean, Kyler's really the biggest name quarterback
Right.
coming out this year. When you
Right.
start talking about quarterbacks, you really start talking about next year's draft when
Yes.
Jalen Hurts, another Houston kid, will be coming up, and
Right.
a few other guys.
Who also went to Oklahoma right now. So
Yeah.
Oklahoma's starting to become quarterback. That's
correct.
I forgot he did go to Oklahoma.
That's correct.
So
Third straight year, the Sooners get the Heisman.
Could be. I heard he had a monster spring game.
Really? Wow. It will be able to play right away?
Yes.
He can. Okay.
Because he graduated already. So yeah.
So he has no. He's not
doesn't have to sit
held
out.
back. Okay.
I know, Andre, you talked about San Francisco having a lot of needs. I mean, that's it. So the teams who have been hurting and had the most challenges and the worst, this is their night to make up for it, right? With
Correct.
their picks that they have.
Correct.
And San Francisco pick is in.
Oh, wow.
It's quick.
Yeah, I don't think they used the full lot of time there, right?
No,
They're like,
you already
we
knew
don't
who
need,
you
yes.
You got to pick up the cell phone, and make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing about Cliff Kingsbury taking Kyler Murray. He had a game plan for Kyler Murray. So he knows kind of what he does because he's watched a ton of film on him. And I'm sure through this process he's worked with him a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works and really what that offense is going to look like next
because
year.
this is the NFL. You know, this is not college.
Right.
And so whatever game plan he had for him then.
So, the same
works.
buzz that Murray has gotten because of the kind of quarterback he is, he can throw, he's dangerous on the run. Lamar Jackson was the same way.
Correct.
He got a lot of hype. He ended up starting in Baltimore, but I wouldn't say he had like a breakthrough year in Baltimore, do you?
I wouldn't say breakthrough, but he proved a lot of people right. Because
Okay.
he took a Baltimore team that's typically only spoken about the defense, and they won a few big games late in the season. Like I want to say they were that one game. Did they get to the playoffs? They were one game
did.
out of it.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
to
they
the
won
playoffs.
at the end to
Playoffs.
get in.
Correct.
Yeah. I want to say it was against the Steelers.
Okay,
right, here we go.
Commissioner's back.
Oh,
There it is.
you called
It's
it.
kind of falling the way the
Yeah.
experts said it
So,
would.
yeah, Keith, it's going to be a Nick Bosa of Ohio State.
And is this the third?
Second
Bosa
pick.
bro- No, I'm saying, I know his brother plays for San Diego.
San Diego.
But
You mean
is it-
brother?
Did the dad play?
The dad played.
The dad played.
Really?
So,
It's a
wow.
family affair.
Yes.
Watch out now.
Yes.
I know people have no idea. That is really hard to do.
Yes, it is. It's
Just
super hard.
because your brother was good doesn't mean
Doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
these
right?
guys are incredible.
Yes, they really are.
Speaking as a father of two boys, I look at them now and I'm like, do you have good feet?
Right.
Watch out! Look,
It's too early.
watch out now, Coach Greg. You might be watching it at home. He was expected to be taken early in the
Right.
first round. We
This
were
is
all
impressive.
talking about that. He'll become the fourth Buckeye selected number one in the draft since Pro Football Hall of Famer Orlando Pace back in 1997.
Wow. Ohio State's always loaded.
Oh, yeah.
And they always get a lot of guys drafted high.
But as we talk about families, you think about all of the time that the parents have put into these young men and taking them to practice and workouts and different things like that. It's not only a special day for the player, it's a special day for the
Well,
parent.
and we've heard on the red carpet, our Matt Musil, he's in Nashville covering the draft. He met up with Ed Oliver on the red carpet tonight. And, he asked him, what about these mock drafts? He said, I'm not worried about a draft. I'm worried about when the commissioner calls my name and
Right.
looking out there and seeing
Right.
my mom's smiling
correct.
face
That's
and
right.
my dad's smiling
Yes.
face. It is so much about the parents
Yes,
on
it
the night
is.
like
It is.
tonight.
It
The
really is.
sacrifice that
Right.
they've made, and the push and the drive, they put in behind the kids too
correct.
and the work.
And the other thing I should point out, coaches, you'll know this. You can't just be talented in the NFL. Like for a defensive end, that's a lot of technique. If you look at J.J. Watt, there's a lot of technique going on. Can you talk a little bit about what it takes to play that position?
So it's repetition. It's over and over, doing the same thing over and over again. And coaches have to get their athletes to buy into that, right? Because it's kind of hard if you, Coach, we did that before. Coach, I just did that. Well, you have to do it to get better. And, once the coaches have an opportunity to look at the film and see and corrections that need to be made, then they have to train them again to do it the correct way and to do it over and over again. So it takes a lot. It's the same thing over and over again. It's using and coaches finding that new twist to what's happening to make sure they're teaching their kids to stay on top.
And
That's
then
what it takes.
also, you find out that you might have a kid that has all the measurables, the height, the weight, the size, the speed, the athletic ability, but if you plan on making it to that level, you have to become a student of the game.
Yes.
I mean, I can speak of many nights of just watching film, and what makes that average athlete a superstar most of the time, especially in the NFL, is you know what's going to happen before it happens.
Right.
You watch so much film that just a little twitch in the arm or a change in the stance, you know exactly where they're going because you've seen it over and over again, and that's when it really allows your athletic ability to shine.
Yeah, they're putting in just as much work off the field, studying the opponent as they
Correct.
are on the field with the drills and the practice as well too.
All right, so the Jets are on the clock. They get the number 3 pick. That's another team that needs help, obviously.
Ooh, do they need help?
Stop it.
Lots of folks asking about the Texans. What's their pick? It's going to be a while, everybody. The Texans
we may not.
23, okay.
Yeah, just so you know. So yeah, the Texans. We might not get there till I don't know 9:30,
9:30,
9:45.
yeah, I would
Somewhere
say
around there.
At the least.
And they need an offensive, left tackle. So we'll have to see if there's one available by the time that they pick. They have 4 picks, I think, in the first 3 rounds. I believe the Texans do, right?
Yeah, so they got the first round pick tonight. Then they've got 54 and
55,
back-to-back
and then
picks in the
80
second
right?
round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
54, 55, and then 86.
There you go.
None in round 4. They have none.
Okay, so I'm looking at the list. So it's Jets, Raiders, Bucks, Giants. Does Ed Oliver go in that one of those?
We're thinking Raiders.
Yeah, we're
I'm
thinking
thinking
Raiders.
Raiders.
Okay.
They lost Khalil Mack, who's a major part of that defensive line at front 7 for them. Well, he's kind of outside linebacker, but he helps them shore that up really quickly.
If Oliver makes it past pick 6, there's some GMs getting on the phone to start talking about trading
Dealing.
Yes.
from
Yeah.
12 to
yeah.
Start making some moves.
14. I mean, I don't think he gets past the Raiders. I mean, if he's sitting there, I don't think he gets past the Raiders.
You know, the Texans have 2 really good pass rushers, obviously. You got JJ, and you got Clowney. But what is the deal with, are they going to sign him to a long-term deal? Do we know?
I received some intelligence today that they
Oh.
were about to shop Connie. Like, they're starting to field calls.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they don't want to sign him to a long-term deal?
That's almost breaking news over here. My head snapped. What?
From Mr. Flowers. The one you
Right.
just saw on
Oh,
TV. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Flowers.
We communicate all the time. Yeah, but I don't know what news outlet he was looking at, but just filling those calls means you're either trying to trade up or that's a big time player in his prime. So
Yeah.
you're expecting to get a lot out of him,
He has 1 year left on his contract,
Yeah.
right? And so they have they franchised him?
which is probably going to be a monster contract if you do keep him. He's going to demand a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's going to want the money to
Did he
stay.
play the entire year last year?
Yeah, he
think
was
so.
Last year he was
Yeah.
playing the year before he had
The
some
year
injuries.
before he
Yeah,
had
so-
his
He had,
challenges.
those couple first years coming out of college where
Right.
it was this injury and that injury,
Right.
and then it's all the talk started of is he a bust? Is he,
Right.
And now that he's playing well, now it's like you can start talking about if we're not going to sign him to a long-term deal, then we need to trade him while he's playing well and his value's up.
Right.
Okay, everything's 6 degrees of separation, right? So speaking of Clowney, Anthony Johnson, wide receiver from Buffalo. His cousins are Jadeveon Clowney and Jonathan Joseph
Oh
as
my
well
gosh.
tonight, who we're watching to see go in the draft. Anthony Johnson there as well. You looking to see if
I'm gonna take
Flowers had another comment for you?
Check it out.
Intel.
It's 5-year option, so he has an option this year.
He has an
Okay.
I'm a resident expert.
Okay, all
There you
right.
go.
Well, thank you for chiming in there, Mr. Flowers.
And
All right, so
you
is
talk
the-
about the family connections in this. The Harrison brothers, who played basketball and came out of Houston, their cousin Hakeem Butler is from Fort Bend Travis, and he could be going in the draft tonight or tomorrow. So
Really?
pretty interesting. Wide receiver out of Iowa State, played at Fort Bend Travis for 1 year, had a monster year, and he's looked at a potential late first round or early second round pick. So that's probably the next Houston guy that would probably come.
That's what
off
I was
the
going to
board.
After-
ask you
after
about.
Oliver, yeah.
Josh Cook with Vipe magazine. If you know anything about high school football, it's a major resource for all those high school football fans out there. If you're a kid who plays high school football, you want to be on the cover, you want to be in the magazine, that's for certain. So local connections there, you were saying, other than Ed Oliver, the young man you just mentioned, anyone else?
And it's a good list this year. I mean, Rodney Anderson from Katy, the running back, he's coming in this draft. around the third, fourth round, you can
Yeah.
see him. Different other guys. I mean, Dakota Allen from Texas Tech. He played at Summer Creek. Of course, his story has been well documented. Going to Texas Tech, got in a little bit of trouble, had to go to the Last Chance U University, earned his way back to Texas Tech, and has done a phenomenal job of being kind of an ambassador of getting a second chance and taking advantage of that. And he'll probably go late in the NFL draft this year at linebacker. Other guys, Travion Williams from Texas A&M, played at C.E. King.
That was amazing in high school.
Really?
That sounds like
Speak
a
to
coach.
it. Because the kids,
What
yeah.
position?
He's running back. He was
Running
one
back.
of the best I saw coming out this year, and he had a heck of a career at A&M.
Okay.
The real deal.
But you know, you can get really great running backs beyond the first round.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there are very few first round.
So the
Running
Jets,
backs.
their pick is now in, so we should hear from the commissioner at any moment who they're going to go
What's
with.
wrong with Josh?
I know it's not a quarterback because they got Sam Darnold, so I know that.
Yeah, you're right.
If it's a quarterback, I'll be.
You'll be
Wide
surprised.
receiver? No, not wide receiver.
Yep.
Too
They
high.
have a running
They
back.
have a running back.
Yeah.
Oh no, they got a wide receiver
Got
too.
Dale. Yeah.
They've got. They got. No, he went to the Browns.
Yeah. He
Oh,
went to the
yeah.
Browns,
Yeah.
so-
They have who? Running back? Ah.
Oh, that's right.
All right, here we go. Third selection. Oh, Alabama.
Defensive line.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, Alabama.
He becomes the first D lineman off the board.
Wow.
And you guys were saying that this was a defensive players draft, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You're right. So Bosa goes 2, he goes 3.
And we're expecting Ed to go 4.
Wow.
Queen and Williams.
That'd be 3 straight defensive players
Correct.
off the board.
So the great story about this kid, you know, I don't know if you've seen them, but his mom died of breast cancer. I guess it must have been about 10 years ago. And so I think he has 3 other siblings, and he talked about, you know, trying to live up to her expectations, and, you know, he was just a kid. So to see this opportunity it's a beautiful thing.
I'm
It is.
sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
Look at that smile, right? He is smiling
He
and
looks like a big
stepping
kid. That's all
fast.
he is.
Yeah,
That's exactly
yeah.
what he looks like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Such a wonderful night for him and for his family as well. Alabama defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams. He was expected to go early, right?
Yeah, he was.
Right.
He was talked about a lot. And he played on a team that everybody talked about, so
Roll
you get your
Tide.
exposure.
I want to say it was something toward the end of the year where he didn't play in, I don't know if it was the SEC championship or one of the
Yeah, it was one
Final
of the
Four
late
games.
games. Yeah.
Keith.
I mean, you see some film of him. He's getting double teamed, and he's still beating it. That's a lot of power coming through there.
All
Yeah.
right.
Rare combination besides the speed.
Outland Trophy winner, nation's top interior lineman.
Okay, you gentlemen hold down the fort. I'm going to get us connected on Facebook again because we got to hear from you folks at home, your
Okay.
thoughts and what you're thinking.
Awesome. All right, so again, thank you for joining us. We're streaming across all platforms, talking about the draft tonight. I'm Lynn Cannon, along with our panel of experts here, talking about the draft so far. The Texans have quite a ways to go. They don't pick until number 23. We're only on, the next pick will be number 4. So Kyler Murray went number 1 to Arizona as expected. Bosa went number 2. And now Quinnen Williams, Alabama, goes number 3. And what's he got inside his jacket?
What is that?
Oh. I wondered if they all get the same design and they have all these.
Special linings, right?
Is that his favorite?
Could be.
And speaking of the inside of the jackets, I don't know if everyone's seen Ed Oliver's
We
inside
showed
of
it
his
earlier,
jacket.
yeah.
The be someone
Be
sign.
someone bridge, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a. That's a nice move.
That was a solid choice on the inside of the jacket.
You got Oakland, who's soon to be Las Vegas, or
That's true. I forgot about
I
that.
think that's
They have another
being
year.
built.
They have another year before they go, right?
I think the 2020 draft will actually be in Las Vegas to kind of help welcome them.
all of you are waiting on the Texans. So I got everything booted back up just to hear like waiting on the Texans, waiting on the Texans. We'll settle in for a while.
Yeah.
And let us know why you're waiting on the Texans. What are you waiting to see that they're going to do, what their type of pick is going to be?
And who they should get. Mm-hmm. There we go. Quentin Williams, defensive tackle. He is one of the top choices. Outland Trophy winner. That's the best interior lineman in the country. Played for a team that was that played for the national championship and got beat worse than most people expected in that game. But that's a talented kid, obviously. So congratulations to him and his family.
And he's joining a great defensive line as well. So he's just going to be a piece to a solid line. So
that takes some of the pressure off too, right?
It does.
When you're just becoming a piece of the puzzle instead of a puzzle of, oh, we're missing a whole lot of pieces and we got to come up with a game plan.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the pressure off from having to perform. Like, yes, it's going to be a lot expected of you because you're that first-round draft pick and you got to live up to the hype. But if you have a good group of veterans in front of you that can teach you the game, it's not a D lineman, but what's my guy, Aaron Rodgers, come to mind.
Yeah.
He got picked late in the first round, sat behind Brett Favre for 2 or 3 years, and then became who he is now.
Right. That's true. It makes a difference.
At our time.
So we're waiting on the fourth pick.
Oakland.
It's possible that Houston's own Ed Oliver could be the next pick going to the Oakland Raiders.
And very possible.
So you guys think that's
You think that's it?
who it is?
That's
Okay.
I mean, they said that they would make a surprise pick at number 4, though. Raiders have been an interesting story all week. So they sent their scouts home before the Easter weekend, which they've said NFL teams do, but then they weren't coming back before the draft, and so it was kind of an interesting move by them. And the offseason's been interesting. You'll get Antonio Brown, you bring him in. Derek Carr has a piece, so it's like, okay, really, it's not a quarterback they need. They've got the wide receiver pieces.
Yeah.
And I know the whole GM situation is different, but over the years, the Raiders have made just absolute head scratchers with their first pick. Like, they'll pick the guy who had the fastest 40 in the draft that probably didn't play 10 snaps. It's confusing.
And couldn't catch, yeah.
Well, this is a no-brainer to you gentlemen who they should be picking.
Yes,
No head scratching here from our panel. Just 2 minutes left on the clock for them.
All right. They might go get a quarterback.
Oh, my God. Why would they do
Does
that?
that mean you're ready to move on from Carr?
No.
I mean,
He's
Thoughts
still in
there.
his prime.
But John Gruden doesn't care about that at all.
yeah.
I mean, he did mention when he took over the team, I want to get my guys in
Correct.
here.
Correct. He doesn't
Carr
care.
is
So
one of
maybe-
the
And
guys.
you guys said they do some surprise moves,
Yes.
so here we go.
Well, they haven't made the pick yet.
Yeah.
They're saying it could be Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State, quarterback.
Which is not there. We talked about that earlier. He's back home. I think they're bowling. And he said he wanted to be with family and friends.
Haskins?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, he's not. He's
Yeah,
not
you haven't seen
That's
him. You're
interesting.
right.
So
Yeah,
how
it is.
often does that happen?
It doesn't happen much, especially as, someone predicted to go so high. But he really said he just wanted to share that with folks that couldn't make it. He wanted to be with them.
Well, you have to
so-
respect that.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. That's staying grounded.
That's the same for, Travion Williams. He's going to be doing a watch party here in Houston. And, of course, he has been projected to be a first-round pick. He could be a back-end first-round, second-round, third-round. But
Sure.
he's going to stay here in Houston and do stuff with family over the CE King area. So
How many picks in the first round?
32?
32.
Okay,
Yes, that is
right,
right.
the
We have
number of teams,
32.
right.
Raiders have 4 of those.
32
And the
tonight.
Raiders have
yes,
4, yes.
yes.
Wow.
That's why it's an exhausting time for Raiders fans tonight. Be ready with their pick in. So any moment now,
That would
we'll
be
see the
odd.
commish.
I think that would be strange, though. They go with Haskins at number. Nobody projected that.
But you think if they play this right, it completely changes the direction of their franchise. To have 4 first-round picks and get them right,
Okay, yeah, if you get them right,
Yeah.
of course. Well, you know what? They could bring Haskins in as a kick in the pants to Carr.
If
You know what I
bring
mean?
him in, Carr is gone.
No.
I don't know. I just feel like
I guess if you go first round on quarterback, that's
Right.
your guy.
you bring them in at number 4, you're trying to change some stuff around.
Correct.
So that's why going back to to Josh Rosen, he should be on notice right now.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to Hazel Sparks, just checking in with some of our folks following along. Hazel's watching from Moore, Oklahoma.
Whoa.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us. your friend Mr. Flowers chiming in again about Clowney there. We should have asked him to come on down, right?
Really short drive, beautiful building.
Right, exactly.
Commissioners coming out. This is
Lots of anticipation here.
All right.
Who? Wow, FERREL from Clemson.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
That was a surprise. That was a surprise to you
So
guys.
he goes over Oliver.
It's
Was he predicted to even go over his teammate, the other D tackle?
yeah, I'm not for sure. I haven't seen his name high in any.
Yes, this is really interesting. So we had pulled up a list of who was expected to go early.
Is he on the list?
This young man is not on the list.
Well, you
So,
said it, head scratcher.
Yes, scratching our heads right
Keith, I don't know
now.
if you'll have that video. He was not projected to go this high.
I mean, he's not a bad football player.
He's not.
I mean,
well,
he's a really
clearly.
good football
He-
player, but
he did a lot of damage for Clemson. I mean, that's
Wilkins. I'm
Right.
thinking about
For
Wilkins.
sure.
So
Yeah.
is this where they need help, though? I mean, over putting Ed Oliver, picking Ed Oliver, rather.
well, they do. I mean, the defensive line is where they needed help, so they addressed that need by going FERREL.
Oh, wow. He looks shocked, doesn't he?
He is shocked.
I don't know
Oh,
if
he's
he
not.
Was,
No,
I
he's
don't know if he was
in.
expecting to go that high. So
Wow.
I mean, so this is interesting to me for Oliver. Now you look at the next few picks. I mean, Tampa Bay, the New York Giants, Jacksonville, Detroit. I mean, the next projection I saw him was Jacksonville or Detroit.
You have
Oh,
it?
he has the video. Okay. There we go. There he is. Cleveland FERREL.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
number 4 pick going to the Raiders.
What did they see? What did they see?
That they needed
Well,
him.
first of all, he plays at a great,
True.
A great
program,
program.
right?
Yes, a storied
Has
program.
competed in the last few
You
years.
take one of the most explosive defensive players on the national championship team, and you kind of got a no-brainer, but it's just one of those things. He didn't have that hype behind him. I mean, obviously, ACC Player of the Year and all the great things he did over there, but
Right.
wow.
Yeah, that name was not on
I
our
watched a
list.
lot of ESPN.
Yeah. So
They never
Josh,
said it.
you were
That just goes to show you, right? They're not writing the checks. Somebody
Somebody
writes
else
the checks
is.
is paying more
I
attention.
mean, who's paying Todd McShay over there, man?
Oh.
Where's your research?
right.
Yeah, was he the one that said
That's
Haskins was in
all the
the...
mock drafts.
So we got Tampa Bay coming up, New York, Jacksonville, Detroit, Buffalo,
What
and
does Tampa
Denver.
Bay need?
That's our 10. So do we think that Ed Oliver will go in
I mean, he
the
could
first
drop-
10?
He could drop to the teens, possibly.
He could.
But
He really
look,
could.
that's not bad.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
It's just
bad at all.
unexpected,
It's
I
just
think.
very
Yes.
unexpected.
I guess that's why they call them mock drafts.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yes.
it's not.
Yeah, you
it's
don't
not
have all
real
the
until-
information.
I was going to say,
The night of.
and it's interesting. I thought Ed Oliver, even him saying, like, man, I'm not worried about any mock draft, but how accurate, I don't know if you guys pay very close attention to those, but how close do they get, or are they, to
Do you have a question, somebody? Or?
the picks?
They're normally pretty into it because those guys, they do a lot of research. They reach out to teams. They have insiders all over the place.
Right.
So they kind of get a pulse of what's going on. I think a lot about how y'all knew about it. When we fill out a questionnaire about our season, one of the things that we're asked is, what place do you think different teams are going to finish, or who are your best players in your district? And those things are kind of universal. Like I can say, oh, we're going to go in the Freedom Win district. That's my pride in my program. But when I'm honest, I'm like, it's in us. So.
Right.
We make a lot of phone calls too. The phone rings a lot for us when we start looking at football teams, and we call coaches who have played other people and defended against other players. Like, how are you going to stop Demetrius Davis and Zach Evans and Shadrack Banks and North Shore next season?
Shout out to North Shore.
Right.
The play of the decade.
Wow. Oh,
That's-
man, that
that's
was
up there.
something. That was something.
And both of those teams are going to be loaded
Yes.
coming back this year. Duncanville and North Shore.
You could actually have a repeat.
Okay, so what was this kid's name again from Clemson?
Cleveland FERREL.
Cleveland FERREL.
So he's a defensive end. He goes
to the-
number 4 to the Raiders. And Tampa Bay has a number 5 pick.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what their needs are. So again, with this We've got
They have
Andre
quite a
Walker,
few, though. They have 7, though.
Greg Wilson, Josh Cook. Gentlemen, thank you for spending the time with us, having a little fun.
Yeah, and in case you're just joining us, let's loop you in here. Mia Gradney along with Lynn Cannon. I joked earlier and told the guys, look, I'm no sports expert, but I'm a sports fan, right?
Mia's definitely a fan.
and know just how exciting and how fun this night is. We're joined by our, I will call these folks experts, played the game, follow the game very closely as well. So we have our HISD Athletic Director, Andre Walker. We're also joined by Josh Cook, Managing Editor, Vite Magazine, and Coach Greg Wilson with Westbury High School as well here in HISD.
So aside from that last pick, no surprises?
No. The first 2 were
Kind of
Yeah.
locked.
Those 3 were right.
But you know, you look at Tampa Bay right now. I was just thinking to myself, you know, they have Winston down there, but if we're going degrees of separation from Houston, they had was this past season where Fitzpatrick started off with them and did well? Was that last season?
No, that was this season.
Yeah, where he wasn't playing, and then you know they put him in. And he was kind of
Well, that was a season ago. It was like more than a season. Yeah, Fitzpatrick.
Right.
This
Well,
year.
Where was he this year? He's journeyman now.
Yeah, he's a journeyman.
Right.
He's in Miami now. I know that.
Wow,
in,
really?
his most recent stop.
Yeah, but I'm
So I
thinking,
thought he started off this year with Tampa Bay because
Was it this year?
Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, time is flying.
Yeah.
You might be right because he
Right,
helped
and
them.
then Winston came in because he started playing bad, and then Fitzpatrick came back, and then Winston ended up. So it was
So we speculate they might be looking for a backup quarterback.
Correct. I
They
think
could
they may give
maybe
him
they
one
could
more
bring
year.
Haskins
Here we
in.
go.
I think
Because
he gets
then-
one more year.
You think?
Winston?
Oh, you
I
think
think so. I
Winston
think
gets
Winston
one more
gets
year?
one more
Why so?
You think so?
Well, I think the new coach is going to give him an opportunity.
New system.
New systems to see if they can help him grow.
Or is he going to put some pressure on him and bring in a new guy?
Well, new coach in Arizona didn't help Josh Rosen, so
This is true.
it was a new coach, and they went
very true.
They said Colin Murray's on the board. We're going to take him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's a special kind of talent. You
That-
figure,
that
okay,
is.
if I'm going to roll the dice,
That's Bruce. with the
that's
hat
a
on,
guy who will do it.
The famous hat.
And that jacket.
Yes.
It's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks, but we're not certain who they're going to take. I don't have any. I don't have any.
We don't even have a guess on this one.
Could be Haskins from Ohio State.
Who's still left that
Could
was
be Ed
expected to go
Oliver.
early? I think that's what we have to talk about, right?
Is there another defensive player that would go high?
I mean, they might be shocked that
It's been all
Raiders
defense.
Raiders didn't take Ed Oliver. They might have looked at their board real quick.
Montez Sweat has
Yes.
not
Yes.
gone yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Mississippi State defensive end,
Devin White.
White.
Here we go. Oh, that's awesome.
How special. Oh,
Nice.
Wow.
nice touch. Nice touch.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, so right now, folks, we're watching just as you are the NFL draft and awaiting to hear the Bucks pick, and think it's special that they have a young man battling cancer who is going to make the official announcement.
You got Devin White.
Devin
Not
White.
a bad pick.
Wow. Oh, the linebacker,
Yeah,
LSU.
LSU.
Yeah, we just mentioned his name
He's a
earlier
player.
of who hasn't gone yet.
He's a player.
Wow.
Defensive picks continue.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
won
it's
the
all defense.
he
out
won
on
the
quarterback.
2018 Butkus Award, honoring the nation's most outstanding linebacker.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Just put that up, Mia.
Each of the
Good
past
work.
16 Butkus Award winners were drafted in the top 45, with 9 picked in the first round, including 7 in the top 10 and 3 in the top 5.
He also got very emotional after he ran that 4.42.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, remember that? He got very emotional.
Broke down crying.
Right, right. And I think he talked about just the hard work he had put in, and he just was so happy that he was able to
Yeah.
to perform on that big stage.
Well, there's so much pressure when you go out there to get those numbers,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because it can raise your stock, it
Correct.
can raise
Correct.
your value, and the other guy is just as hungry
Correct.
as you are. It's
Right.
like the Hunger Games
Right.
out there,
You're
right?
right.
Like
Yep.
I've come to do this for my family,
Correct.
to do this for my school.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot of pressure to perform out there, so you understand him getting emotional.
Okay, so here we are. We're following the draft. There are all of you tonight on all of our platforms. A couple of news folks who happen to be sports junkies and fans, getting to vamp a little bit with some of the experts. We've had, 5 picks so far. The first, Kyler Murray, number 1. After that, it's been all defense. We're waiting to see, excuse me, if Ed Oliver from University of Houston will go in the first round. He is expected to, but we're only at the number 6 pick, so we'll have to see what happens. I was just reading the background. I did not know this, guys. Were you aware of this? That if Oliver goes, thank you. If Oliver goes in the first round, he'd be the 4th defensive lineman from U of H, lineman from Houston to be a first-round selection in the draft, common draft era. That I didn't know.
No.
Oh, Leonard
Okay.
Mitchell, Wilson Whitley, Mac Mitchell. Okay.
So the Giants are up next.
Ooh.
Oof.
They got a lot of holes.
Oh yeah, I was
Giants
just
got a lot of
thinking that.
holes.
I
They need a
live.
quarterback.
I live with
They
a
do.
Giants fan, so I hear about this pretty often. Yes.
They will trade for Josh.
You think so?
I
From
think
the
so.
Cardinals?
And that's going to be their backup quarterback for 1 year, and he'll take over the starting job next year.
That's possible.
Great insights.
Or do they
it.
draft
You heard
Dwayne
it.
Haskins right now?
Nope.
No.
No, Allen's got a year under his belt, so
They'll bring him in.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize that lost 10+ games in the last 4 or 5 seasons.
yeah, they've been bad.
Oh yeah,
I was
it's
just
been.
about to say that.
Didn't you just hear me say I live with a Giants fan, and man, it gets a little hard during the football season.
This guy's a player. Everybody's
Yeah.
a player.
Well, if you think of the first 5 picks of this year's draft, 4 of the 5 have been defensive players. 2 have come from the SEC, so
Yes.
it's pretty. 1 from the ACC, and then of course Kyler from the Big 12. So
You still have a lot of defensive players
Left.
out there.
The ones that were expected to go early at the
That was a
least,
quick
right?
I was about to say they knew real quick.
No, they wasted no time.
So they have a lot of need. So quarterback is a need, but you don't think they'll draft a quarterback.
Oh, I don't think so.
So probably defense, right?
There's speaking
Right.
about quarterbacks right now. Might go that direction.
I mean, you got to think wide receiver. And they just sent Odell
Correct.
to Cleveland.
Well, safety.
Yeah, safety, running back. They've got Saquon Barkley, so I think
Correct.
they're good there.
Yeah, they got a running
They don't
back.
need to make another top pick at running back.
Wide receiver?
Could be Dwayne. Wow.
I think you got to at least consider quarterback though.
You just said what you brought up. Would they trade for Rosen?
That's what they're going to do.
Oh,
Good job.
okay. White has gone.
All righty.
The Giants fans are typically the rowdiest at the draft.
Yeah, they
Are
are.
They show
they?
up regardless of whether the
Yeah.
draft or they show up in bulk.
Have you been to the draft? Now I know you've
I
had
have
players
not.
go to the draft. Anybody here been
I
to
have
the
not.
draft? Okay,
No.
yeah. Well, it's just exciting to see some of the kids you know go,
Right.
right? That's the reward. That's the big one.
So here we are. We're waiting on the 6th pick. The New York Giants are on the clock.
It is.
Here they go.
Wow.
Oh,
That's a quarterback.
There
Not
you
the one we thought.
No.
Guy from Duke.
What do we know about this kid?
Yeah, he's in our list
He
here.
made Duke relevant, which is saying
Yeah.
a lot.
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to football, right?
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
So it's Daniel Jones from Duke.
And with his numbers right there, he looks like a pure pocket passer.
Yeah, he's 6'5".
The first Blue Devil quarterback selected in the first round in the
Wow.
draft. 4th Duke player since 1967.
Yeah, we don't usually talk about Duke football.
No,
No.
I was just scratching my head. It's like, oh, that's right, basketball school.
So there's your aforementioned predecessor to
That's it.
Eli Manning.
Well, you think about the number of games he played. He's been. I mean,
Is he a
he's been
senior?
starter. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a senior. He's played a lot, and he's seen a lot as well. So
And I think he was a
But you know,
quarterback
he's-
too. That
His name has come up
his name has.
in the discussions
Right.
about potentially going higher than what you would conventionally think. Wow.
I think there was one point that they kind of talked about him
That's a shocker.
and the Patriots,
Number
maybe.
6.
You know, maybe being the next guy after Brady. You know, because they didn't expect him to go this high. I mean, it's kind of a interesting
Yeah.
picks.
We're watching him right now. Some footage from him.
So what does he do? Sit for a year?
He sits for a year.
Okay.
He sits
Behind Eli, and
Behind Eli.
then he'll start.
Then he'll start next year. He'll take over next year.
Unless in those preseason games he
Correct.
shows he's pro ready.
Right, unless he just lights it up.
Wow.
I think even then, I think it's something I think the Giants have to sit back and say, if Eli can get us through this season, and
Let's
he
go
doesn't
into
get
that.
hurt,
Right.
Jones doesn't see the field.
And he can sit back and learn.
And he can
Right.
sit back and learn.
You can learn.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, how many years was Rodgers behind Favre?
Yeah.
I want to say it was 2
4,
or 3.
2 or 3.
2 or 3 years. That
So
paid off.
we're hearing from some folks. Want to give them a shout out. Sev Hammond, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Will Tolopka, go Rebels of '84. How about that?
That's the real Westbury.
Right? That's a throwback Thursday for you right there. Thanks so much for shouting out an alumni there, Will,
All right,
for
so
joining us.
one of our sports experts in the house,
We have lots of those.
Michael Rosenhaus, was telling me that the coach at Duke, that coach Daniel Jones, also has worked with the
Correct.
Mannings
That's correct.
before.
That's correct.
Right? So they obviously
correct.
know each other.
Correct.
Probably seen him work,
Yeah.
and they may have highly recommended
That's
him.
correct.
That just kind of shows you how much pull the Mannings have.
Oh, they have a
I
lot.
think back to when Eli flat out said, "I'm not playing for the Chargers."
That's
You
what he
wanna trade
said.
me."
Right.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
See, you just referred to the best quarterback coach in the country is at Duke. So, yeah, he's
Okay.
almost 6'6". He's 221. He's not fast, but we were talking about this earlier. Tom Brady ain't fast.
Yeah, I was going to
At
say,
all. And it don't matter.
Yeah, I said with the quarterback, it doesn't necessarily matter about the speed. It's like it's a bonus, right?
It's a bonus.
is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lynn and I talked about this earlier. It has to be slow here to process it, to see it, and know exactly where to go with the ball. Yep.
Right.
So
Okay, up next with their pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
they have a quarterback, so we know it won't be quarterback.
Yeah, they do have a quarterback. There's a lot of defensive players still out here.
Yeah.
Although he's trouble, they have a running back.
They do. And their defense did let them down last year.
So Ed Oliver, obviously still out there. That comes as a surprise to you
Yes, it
guys.
does.
Yes,
We
he's.
thought number 4, without a doubt, we thought.
So let me see.
How do you
here.
think he's feeling right now? I mean, so yeah, you don't go. You're not part of the top 5. All right, what do you do?
I
Chip
think.
on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chip on the shoulder. Everybody who passed on me, I'll show you. That's what he
So you've got Ed.
He's gonna start circling all those opponents on the
Yes,
schedule.
That's what he's
and,
thinking right now.
and say, okay,
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Awesome.
He's at the draft watch party, right? Okay, so we're just checking in. Our extraordinary producer tonight, shout out to Keith Thompson, punching the buttons over there, doing it all. Just let us know that Jason Bristol, with our sports team, sports anchor, he's going to join us live from a watch party tonight.
So I'm
we'll
looking at the
hear
rest of
from
the
him.
defensive people still on the board. You've got Ed Oliver from U of H. You got Rashawn Gary out of Michigan, who's a defensive lineman. You've got the defensive end Montez Sweat out of Mississippi State. Devin White is already gone, so I bet he goes in the next 3 or 4 picks. Ed Oliver.
ironically, they're showing clips of Ed Oliver right now.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't be surprised.
that's not a bad defense for him to go to either.
Yeah,
And they have
I mean, 2
cornerbacks that
seasons
can
ago
spot
they
out
were
plays.
loaded,
They were.
right? They were lights out just about.
Yeah, this was the spot of the first round where if he got past that 4th pick, that it was either Jacksonville or Detroit that could maybe take him.
Okay.
I saw in a couple mock drafts.
All right, here we go.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, Kentucky.
Okay, I'm
Stumped.
yeah. I don't know
Stumped?
what to say.
You're stumped.
I don't know what to say.
All right. What do we know about Josh Allen?
Now, I would be really surprised if the Lions pass on Oliver next. That would shock me because I did see Josh Allen above Oliver.
Did
A
you?
lot of-
Really?
well, except for the ones that had him at number 3.
Okay.
He's taking his son
But
with
then
him.
some other ones,
Yeah, that's
he was a little higher. So back-to-back picks, Duke
Well,
and Kentucky.
One thing is, so there have been 7 picks, 5 are defensive players, right?
Last 2 from basketball.
And 2
school.
quarterbacks. And 2.
Great observation. Okay. So
Josh Allen. Okay.
You have any video there, Josh Allen? He's up.
Yeah.
There he is. He was the Bronco Nagurski Award winner, the nation's top defensive player.
I mean, I've watched him 1 or 2 times, and he's a player.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect for him to go.
Whoa.
This high.
That was a good video.
Oh, yes, it was.
This is like the year when Clowney got drafted and everyone showed that video of him
Yes.
against
Over
Michigan
and
when he-
over and over
Yes.
when
again.
he destroyed that guy in the backfield. I mean, the defense is all about speed. How fast can you get back there? If your reach, can you reach the
Yeah.
ball? I mean, your awareness.
Right.
It's just that, when you point this out, it's a basketball school. You don't usually think of defensive players coming out of
Correct.
Kentucky for the NFL.
Right.
Right.
Typically.
And you look at his speed; they have him listed at 4.63. That's fairly fast for a linebacker, but it just shows you that he probably has fantastic football instinct.
Mhm. And they said they can use it in a lot of different ways. So there you go.
He's going to have to cover. He's going to have to be a coverage guy
Right.
sometime. So you're right. The football instinct is going
Okay, so here we are. Look, we've got the Lions, the Bills, the Broncos, the Bengals. Ed Oliver's got to go in one of those. Think?
I mean,
Got to.
I thought he was going to go number 4.
We all did.
7.
We all
Yeah.
did.
I mean, somewhere in there, I know a couple names. I know the Bengals, Dwayne Haskins' name's been thrown around with them. I think the Broncos, they don't need a quarterback. I mean,
Detroit doesn't need a quarterback.
no.
No.
The Bills, do they need a quarterback?
The Bills always need a quarterback.
The Bills need everything.
Hey, they're on life support, right?
Right.
Yeah. Josh Allen ran a 4.6 in the combine. Yeah.
There he is with
bad
his
for-
family there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, congratulations to him. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Big night here. What are you waiting for? Other than the Texans, we know. We know. We're waiting for the same thing. Lynn and I will probably be doing the news by the time we get to
yeah.
the Texans
That's
pick.
true. We don't have but we're on pick number 8.
8.
Texans pick 23rd. They need an offensive tackle. So, we'll see who's on the board then. So far, our defense has dominated in the picks.
So offensive tackles should be there.
Oh,
They'll be
yeah.
available
Got
the way we're
got a long
going.
way to go
Yeah.
to 23.
Follow the trend of the draft. We might see a defensive back if it-
Yes. Yes.
Need one of those too.
Take our pick here. All right. See what our friends at home are saying. Where's Jason Bristol going to be? Producer Keith Tomshe, let us know.
Is he at a watch party?
He's at the official watch party.
At
So
Reliant, maybe?
we are watching and waiting for him to join us, offer us his insights on the night as well too. When he and I were visiting earlier, all the talk was about Ed Oliver.
Right.
Quite frankly, I didn't think we would still be talking about Ed Oliver at this point of the night. I
But
thought,
we're on it's the 8th pick. If he goes 10, 11, 12, that's great. That's great.
It is. It is.
And they said anywhere from, I heard projections anywhere from 4 to 14.
Right.
okay.
So we're good.
So hold your horses,
I'm sure he's a
everybody.
little nervous, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is.
We saw this one year. It was the quarterback for USC, and his name just kept passing him over and passing him over. And the look on his face, because he looked like he thought he was going to go in the first round. It didn't happen.
Well, that was like the year
That's tough.
Johnny got drafted out of Texas A&M.
Manziel?
When Manziel got drafted, they thought he would go early and slid and slid and slid, and the Browns finally took him late in the draft. And
Well, he still went first round, though, right?
yeah, he still went first round. It just wasn't in the top 5, top 10, whatever you thought it was going to be.
Oh, so this is interesting. Boshal, is that how you say his first name?
No, his name is Keelan.
Oh.
That's Facebook name.
Oh,
Only real on this flower.
AKA. Okay, so Mr. Flowers, we were talking about who was still left, right? So Montez Sweat is still left. He says teams might be scared of him because of a heart condition.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What kind of insight and intel is
Really?
Mr. Flowers getting?
Right. Got wired into the system.
Okay.
Who'd they take? Oh, Iowa. A tight end.
Wow. At number 8, you don't typically see tight ends go there.
Wow.
You don't see tight ends go
So-
No.
Shocky days like
Who
that.
is
They're on the back half.
TJ Hawkinson? All right.
He's on our list.
If he's
Iowa.
fouled, that means he can block. They run the ball back. Exactly right.
So,
Let's see what we can find about TJ. You have something, Lynn?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
Let me see here. Iowa tight ends. There's 2 of them from Iowa. T.J. Hawkinson.
That's correct. There's 2 of them. Yep.
They were both projected as first round picks.
That's
I'm trying to remember, the Lions took a tight end a couple of years ago.
Wow.
I can't remember
They did.
his name. Can't remember the name of that team. He's pretty
Oh.
good.
Oklahoma State, was it?
I think so, because he was the award winner that
Yeah,
year.
a few years back.
And they took him.
So,
So
still,
this kid is.
and if you're wondering why our heads are snapping, we're following along and watching. Well, other than the shocks of the evening, but we're following along and watching the draft right with you as we talk it up. Right, your shot, yeah. HISD athletic director Andre Walker shocked tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jason's out there, you guys won't be able to talk to him, but I'm just going to cue him when you guys are ready to
Sure.
Right, you let us
And he's
know.
going to offer us his thoughts about how things have gone so far tonight. Okay. We're just checking in with our producer, Jason Bristol, our sports anchor
Yeah, that'll get you a pick.
expert. Yeah. Is at the official watch party here in H-Town. He's going to give us some insight and his thoughts as to what the night has brought so far with the 2019 NFL Draft happening in Nashville, Tennessee. We're all surprised here that Ed Oliver has not been picked up yet.
Look at that block.
And the other. Okay, so we were trying to figure out more about T.J. Hawkinson, and the consensus is he can play. All right, so let's check in now with Jason Bristol. Hey, Jason.
Hey everybody, we are here at the Texans draft party at NRG. Give you a sense of what's happening here. Our friends over at Sports Radio 610, they're holding their live stream as they get ready for the Texans to make their pick. There is a big, big crowd of Texans fans, obviously. All getting ready for pick number 23. The biggest surprise thus far here, I think, was the Giants pick the quarterback. And I think that pick really was something that surprised a lot of people here. And I have Chinadu with me. Where's Chinadu? Hey, where's Chinadu? Hey, Chinadu's with me.
We here. What's going on, Jason?
How are you, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm enjoying this draft party, man. A lot of great Texan fans, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement and preparation for the Texan Super Bowl run. I'm calling it.
What I end up doing, I often end up being his photo guy because everyone wants a picture with Chinadu, so I end up taking the picture with Chinadu and his fans. Are you getting a sense of where the Texans fans want to go with their pick?
The Texans, what it's sounding like, I've heard cornerbacks and I've heard people wanting defensive players. I've heard that a whole lot. That's what
no offensive line.
I've been hearing a lot of cornerbacks and defense, though. I've heard rumors of offense, though. But I don't know yet, though. I guess we're the other side of it. But right now, what I've been hearing a lot of right now is they want defensive players and they want cornerbacks, what I've been hearing.
Let me ask you a question. Have you heard anything? Because that just seems like you pulled it out of thin air.
Are we live? Are we rolling live?
Yes, we're live.
No. That's what I've been hearing. Although I do agree, some offensive players would be better, though. We need some more weapons.
Offensive line.
Offensive line players would be great. We need more weapons on there.
Who here wants an offensive lineman with the first pick? Who wants a defensive back with the first pick? Defensive back.
A couple.
Oh, defensive lineman. Defensive lineman? No? D-line?
We got a couple.
How about trading down? Trading down? Trading down? You know, it's interesting. You talk and you listen to a lot of the experts. The Texans are in a kind of a weird spot because they picked 23rd, and a lot of your real hardcore experts think that there's really only 15 or 17 true first-round talents. So at that point, maybe you want to trade back and pick up some extra picks.
I mean, that may be opposite, though, because like you said, 23rd is really late in this draft, though, and by the time they get to the Texans, like you said, 15, 17 slots already gone. All the quote-unquote elite players or game-changer players may be gone. However, you never know at the draft, whatever, though, because there's some players that we may feel may be duds that end up being superstars.
Yeah? Listen, I mean, all your great players don't have to be picked in the top 10 picks. We're waiting now, and Ed Oliver has just been selected, so certainly here, Ed Oliver going to the Buffalo Bills. All right, so there's the reaction of the crowd. Certainly a lot of people excited. Ed Oliver going to the Buffalo Bills. I also think a lot of people here, they just want to be on television, on Facebook Live.
I think so too. Let's ask.
I think if we just said, hey, how about that Seahawks pick, they would just still erupt anyhow.
I think so too. I think the only question that would cause a riot if we were like, all right, any Cowboy fans or any In-N-Out Burger fans in here, or whatever.
You want to try Cowboys?
Let's see. All right. Hey, where are my Cowboy fans at? Cowboy fans.
They're listening.
Hey, I said we got one over there. Security, get him. So you guys can be clear, this was without a shadow of a doubt, Texan country, okay? And they're excited about that pick.
Yeah.
And how many of you guys believe the Texans are going to the Super Bowl next year?
But, you know, you got to be happy for a guy like Ed Oliver. I mean, here's a UH guy, stayed at home, first-round pick. I used to live in Buffalo, and I can tell you this. Buffalo is much like a Green Bay. They live, die, breathe, everything football. That city shuts down on game days, and they will treat their first-round pick like a king. And Ed Oliver is in for quite a treat, as he is now a Buffalo Bill. But again, now we're getting, oh, that's an interesting outfit right there. Look at that, there's a bobblehead on top of a helmet.
That is really interesting. Who's on that bobblehead, by the way?
That's got to be Deshaun, right?
I think that is Deshaun. Look at the edge up. That's Deshaun. That is the Deshaun edge up. I think that's Deshaun, definitely. Edge up is super tight. I've never seen him have a bad edge up in my life, ever. Deshaun, if you're watching, who's your barber? I want to know. That's amazing. But I definitely want to say a big congrats to Ed Oliver, UH alumni. I'm a UH alumni myself.
Yeah.
And if you're a UH alumni too, you know that Ed Oliver's about to pay off all those student loan debts because they are pretty high. So I'm happy for my guy Ed.
What else should we know about people who are UH grads? What else do they know about the University of Houston?
The University of Houston, you know you've been to the University of Houston if you have spent 4 hours trying to find a parking spot before class, okay? That's how you know you're a cougar, okay? Real talk, guys.
All right, so I can't hear you guys, so we can ask a few people here about what they think about the draft, and then we'll send it back to you guys. So, all right, give me a pick. Who do we want to see at 23 overall? Who? Give me a name. Anyone got a name? Anyone got a name?
Ed Oliver. Oliver.
Just taken by Buffalo. And right here, this is. So here's the deal. The minute we move the camera away from Chinadu, that's when all the people want to come in and take pictures with Chinadu.
I mean, what happens from time to time. Want to know why? Because I have some of the best fans right here in Houston, Texas. The best.
Look at this outfit. This is a real fan right here too.
Oh, that's definitely a big fan right there, man. I love the outfit. I love the boa.
We got this on both, right? Look at these.
Man, I love the skull on there too. I love it.
Wow. So how long does it take you to get ready for a draft party or a game, or just how long does it take you to get ready?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah. It takes her an hour, damn it.
20 minutes.
It takes you an hour?
I do this. I do this. Yeah.
Wow.
This is 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
They're not real.
No? All right, 23rd overall, who do you want to see the Texans take, or what position?
Man, I don't know. I just want them to get good guys out there, man. You know, get good defense, and everybody be all right after that. You know?
All right. Sam, you feel the same way?
I you know what? I'm a jinx, so I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm
All right. And again, once again, guys, Chinadu, he has so many fans. I mean, I think like 3/4 of the people here want their picture taken with Chinadu. So I'm going to send it back to you guys back in the studio as we, again, wait for the Texans pick at 23 overall.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. There was a big cheer in the newsroom here because University of Houston's defensive player Ed Oliver goes number 9
Yeah.
to the Buffalo Bills.
We were all
waiting.
hooping and hollering, and I tell you what, we all noted. He has been the most excited player to have his name called tonight. You could see it. He was so excited. He was happy. He had that swag while walking down the hall there. He told our Matt Musil he was going to do a little dance. Once he got up on the stage, he did it. Relieved. Off to the Buffalo Bills. Thoughts?
It's cold up there.
He'll warm up real
It's
fast.
going to be a little
He'll
bit of
learn
an
to
adjustment, but he's a dynamic player, and he's going to continue to do great things, I think.
My question is, when do the Buffalo Bills come to Houston? And when is he going to have his homecoming? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing. Great for Ed Oliver. He did it right in high school. He did it right in college. He stayed home. He went against the grain of the 5 stars need to go to Alabama and all these monster programs, and he just proved it. He proved that you can stay home with your home university, even if it's not in a Power 5 conference, and get drafted top 10 in the NFL.
That's correct.
If you work for
That's
it.
major. That's major because a lot of our kids always think that they have to go to a power conference or they have to go to this major big university. And again, he just proved it that you don't. You just have to work hard and continue to do the things to get better, and you see what happens.
So we were talking earlier, so it's been a while since the University of Houston has had a pick this high. So our crack staff tells me the last highest pick, 1992, David Klingler, went number 8.
Okay.
Prior to that, Andre Ware was number 6 in 1990.
Oh, he was 6, okay.
Was it 6 or 7? 7.
Right.
Okay, so now Ed Oliver is number 9.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a generation apart.
Correct.
But happy for Ed Oliver tonight.
Yeah, and U of H, obviously, too, that program. I mean, he has really helps continue putting their name out there and making them a football school.
Correct. Yeah, he was a big part of the change, you know.
Yeah, he was.
When they became a national powerhouse, top 10 ranking, and, you know, in the major bowl games, he's right there with it. And then you know, if you're talking about a coming out party, you just mentioned that was it Peach Bowl against Florida State was when he announced himself to the world. We knew he was good.
Here's the 10th pick.
Yeah.
Steelers.
Oh. So the Broncos
Walter
traded their pick to the
Misdiagnosed.
Steelers.
Oh.
Montez Sweat heart condition misdiagnosed.
Oh,
Okay.
misdiagnosed. Okay.
Wow.
This will be interesting.
So-
Steelers move up.
So
this-
that changes
yeah.
his stock. That his stock
changes his
raises
stock.
back up. Then okay.
Check your sources.
Okay. Walter Payton looks good, by the way.
Nice jacket.
Devin Bush, Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
Devin Bush.
He's a player.
Took it back to the 80s with the.
Wow.
Oh, somebody call Bobby Brown, right?
Separated shoulder.
Wait,
Yeah,
did
no,
he
that's
have
what
a
I thought when I
tail
first
too,
saw it. I'm
right?
like, who is that?
I thought he was hurt for a second. I thought, man, you got to wear a sling to
Every
the.
step you take gonna be
Or
around
wait
the
a minute,
stage.
or that might be a little bit more MC Hammer. I'm not sure. All right.
Going to the Steelers. That's a great organization.
Yeah. Devin Bush.
Yeah, back to Ed Oliver. I mean, this is a great for high school football in Houston.
Yeah.
Top 10 pick. I think first Houston-born kid to be taken in the first round since Andrew Luck back in 2012.
Oh, that's good information.
Houston-born kid.
Right.
Not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kids that have been taken since then that have played in Houston and not born in Houston.
Right.
So.
So the Steelers with the 10th pick, Devin Bush, Michigan linebacker. He was projected to go first round selection as well. 4th Michigan linebacker selected in the first round since 1967.
Yeah, they've had their share.
Yeah. So we have made it to pick number 10. Have 13 more to go for the Texans. We're going to keep following that for you as well. And you know, just as soon as the Texans make their pick, we're going to bring that to you on all our platforms, Facebook, Twitter, the KHOU app,
Periscope.
the website, Periscope, YouTube, you name it. We're going to let you know. We know that's the information everybody is craving tonight as we continue to watch the 2019 NFL Draft live from Nashville, Tennessee. Want to thank our guest here tonight.
all.
A lot of fun, gang.
Yes, Andre Walker, the athletic director with HISD, Josh Cook, managing editor of Vipe Magazine, Coach Greg Wilson, Westbury High School, and graduate Lynn Cannon here. Thanks so much.
All right, have a good night.
Good night.